Hello everybody, welcome back to our single player world. Today we are going to be starting again in this area, building a brand new build. I guess it's not really completely brand new, but a brand new idea of build, I guess. And not only that, something very different to what we normally do. Normally we're doing buildings or building things like docks or something along those lines. But today we're doing something that is more of an original thing, and that is going to be the crane that this crane house was built for. And I don't even know if a crane house is a thing, I'm not going to lie. It's made up and it exists in this world. So that is the idea, and maybe it is a thing. You know what? Who knows? Maybe it is actually a thing. But I've done a few little changes to this area. You might have noticed a few, and I'll go up here because I think this is a good place to show it all off. So I'll just park up here. Wonderful. I've extended this roof out, so the roof is practically all finished. You can see it over there. We've also got this little area here, which I was pretty much just hanging around this area. All of a sudden, it kind of came to my mind, like, how about doing this? A weird angle, a weird sort of curve, take away from this very blocky, straight nature of this whole area, I guess. And I think it looks pretty cool. We'll work with it eventually, get a proper street going there. Obviously, the new street lamp, but you know what? That's all easy stuff. You guys can kind of see that all. Over here is the important part. We've got the new base for the crane itself. And we've also got this area out here, which I'm going to be showing you guys now. And that's going to be the focus, I guess. This little area, we're going to put a lot of detail into this by the end of the episode. And I want to do a few interesting things with our crane specifically, and also with this area. I hope we can get a pretty cool looking thing by the end of it. So with this area, first of all, let's tackle that little bit there. My plan is to have a little viewing window over here, a little window where you can see the operator in there, and we want some operator controls. I don't know if it necessarily is a logical thing as far as making this build a build that's applicable to this world, because let's just think of this, right? Ships come in, they dock here, they get all their stuff taken out by this crane, and the items go around that way to the city. So they go in this way to wherever they have to go, or they come out and they get put on over here. So my thought is that if this crane was around here, maybe we don't have to have it going all the way to this side, because this kind of would get in the way. The actual building would get in the way. And not only that, the other issue would be, of course, well, why are we zooming in like that? The other issue would be that this over here, the dock guy, the crane director, I guess you would call him, can't see down there. So we have to really make sure we just make it look cool. That's pretty much it. It might not be completely accurate, but we can make it look awesome. And this is my first little thought here, is I was thinking of doing something like this, just a normal thing like that over there. And then before we start going any further, we start working out what we need to place here. So for instance, I want to make this place look like it's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Maybe some things looking to support the crane's load over here, and a few other sorts of things. And I feel like that's really what we have to get involved in to begin with before we can finish up the crane itself. But I'm also just, while I'm at this point here, this is kind of the spot that I'm thinking of when I think about this build, because I think it's really important to have your perspective that you think you're going to be seeing it all the time from, and working with that, maybe looking at a few other angles, but having that one angle is really good. And this is going to be our angle for this today, guys. So standing over here, you can't actually see the base of that, but just picture this: the ship docked over here, sails, probably the mast's probably like up that high. We've got this crane coming in over here, this direction here. And here's where this crane's going to be cooler. Is originally, I actually built a crane in my last world, and it wasn't a massive crane, but it was pretty cool, I thought. And it was also for our docks, but this was the idea that I was going to go for originally. Just a thing sort of like this. In fact, very similar to our little lights over there. So we'll do that there. Stop like that. That was sort of the idea I was going to go for. But I thought against that. I feel like maybe if we do something at an angle, that could be kind of cool. A little bit different, and I think it will actually be a really cool idea from this. Just picture a photo. Let's just picture this as like a postcard that you're sending from the city, I guess. From here, we're gonna have these angles of like the ship's sails, which are probably going to be all tied up anyway. The masts up there. We've got this crane coming in at a diagonal angle, or maybe even not even diagonal, like directly 45 degrees. We can maybe try something somewhere in between, but definitely not straight and definitely not 45 degrees. I think that'll be really, really cool. Just one coming in there, breaking up all of this here. It'll really just pull this area off very, very nicely. So what I want to do before I get too involved in here is I want to go ahead and just plan out the base of this. Alright, we're back here, and I've done quite a bit of stuff. Just don't mind me with this. I'm testing out many different things. The real trick to something, I guess, that I'm not very comfortable with is just doing these odd things that I'm definitely not comfortable with, and just playing around with them, some ideas. So I've got this pillar going up here. I'll explain what's going on there in a second. But I've got this pillar going up here, and I've got the angle that I'm pretty happy with. As a matter of fact, this angle that I thought I was going to go for was significantly lower than what I was expecting. I thought I was going to go for one sort of at that angle over there, right? Like, just think of that coming out like that. That's what I thought it would look like, but turns out this is what we've gone for. And I'll just quickly refer back to this postcard photo that I was talking about a bit earlier. Just picture that there. Ignore this pillar, by the way. That's just markings for me to get the right distance. Just don't worry about it. So picture that. That over there, the ship's mast going over there. I think that's going to work so well. Just breaking this whole area up. It's going to look really, really good. So the thing is, what's going on with that piece at the top? That's probably the question you guys are asking. And I'll explain that to you in just a second. I want to try something that I'm not 100% confident with, and that is maybe making this a little bit wider. And I've also done a few interesting bits to try get this thing to look cool, which I don't know if we've got working 100% for us, but it's worth a try. And what I've decided to do was going 3 wide, which really doesn't make sense. A 3 wide arm on this thing just, to me, was a really silly thing. I've gone 2 of these, and I think the challenge is to try and make it a little bit more interesting. And I think 3 isn't actually as bad as you necessarily think, considering it's a Minecraft thing, and, you know, it's not necessarily real, I guess. But having this 3 wide wasn't actually too bad. Turns out we're not going to do it, but it was worth the try, and I guess that's the point, is we're not always going to be doing something we're 100% happy with. But going back to this arm, which the interesting thing about this arm, by the way, is, you know when you would use Microsoft Paint and try and get a line, and it would come up with like a pixel, then another pixel, and kind of like that. You kind of get a good angle from it. That's what I've done from this, and what I've decided to do is I did that the whole way up, and then what I did is I decided what would be a cool thing to do is to just push one of these half slabs up over, so that, for instance, what was happening was you'd have this one over here finishing off like that. So that would be finishing off, and that would be finishing off on the same block. And this is just a little trick, I guess, just in general with building. When you got things finishing up on the same level, it shows a real obvious pattern very, very quickly. And doing that like that, just staggering that a little bit, even though it's 3 high and you could have had it 2 the whole way, I think that works really, really well, and it just breaks it up a little bit more. So that's pretty much what I've been doing this whole time, just figuring this stuff out. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to do something at the back here like that, maybe another one out. In fact, no, we'll leave that like that, because we're going to put the weight on there. Something like that. And now what I want to do is I want to just maybe mess around with some things that I'm going to put on the sides here. So I tried these things, the stone slabs. They didn't work, but they're worth a try. As I say, never discount something like unnecessarily, I guess. Even though it might not make sense, you never know. Sometimes it's that one thing that might not make sense that makes it look really cool. So let's do something like that. Something like that. You see, I don't want to use trapdoors too often. I used to use these in my last world very, very often. Oh man, did I really just walk straight off the edge? I thought I actually was pretty on point with my space barring. I've been building trees today. I should have been pretty good at just jumping around. Turns out it's just impossible. All right, so that there will be the next full one, will it? Yep, and this doesn't have a full one here, but we'll just step away, have a look. That actually has a different thing for me right there. In fact, that's got a sort of interesting bit there. Kind of as though it's some pulleys along the way. That's the kind of feel I get from that. Let me take those. Maybe actually that could be cool. I want to just try out something here, because this is kind of interesting. And we'll also just grab these while we're at it. You can see we're getting super low on them. There we go. That should be pretty good. Come on. That wasn't a bad ender pearl. Just didn't get me where I wanted it to go. All right. There. Wonderful. What? These things are broken. All right. And I might be broken as well. That's all right. So we'll do this again. Make the jump. And then we'll go around here and try this out again. So what did I do? I need to put that over there. I think that could look kind of cool. And then have this pulley sort of thing going on here. Like that. Maybe another one over here, because of course we do know that's where they go. We'll try it again. Just do that there. And then again here. And in fact, what will be better off is if we just do another one on the other side to test it out completely, because that could also change things. Just that. Okay, I've got a shift. Sounds like this is more complicated than you expect. All right, let's just give this another go. There, and shift, right click. We'll do the same thing for the last one. And we'll test this out. So this is just me going through, trying out a few different things, obviously, and not knowing what's going on. But of course, it's just to show you guys what the process is of this. Yeah, I think that actually does have something. Something like that, if we can work out a way of connecting those. That looks like a pulley system on here. It does, however, look a little bit wonky, that shape that I've gone for there, which I'm definitely going to have to fix up there, because that shape is not working 100%, but it's just a matter of refining it, I guess. Another thing which I think I might do is probably adding in a system that looks like it's supporting it, maybe from the bottom here, just a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe some stairs, maybe some slabs, maybe some fence posts. I'm not sure. Even the iron bars could be a good idea. So I'm going to probably do something like that. In fact, iron bars might not be bad for a rope. Might do those. So my next thing is, I'll quickly explain to you what I was doing in this middle piece, and then we'll go ahead and work on a mechanism for the arching, or the arcing part of this. There would be arcing, I guess. And I'll show you what I'm talking about for that. So here we go. This is just a little thing that I wanted to look like it could rotate. So this is the base, obviously, that everything's rotating in. We'll probably actually do like a room full of gears and stuff underneath this in this little square box. And what that will allow this thing to do is to spin around. But over here, where it connects, we've got a lot of opportunity to make this look really cool. And what I think we could do is probably put in a little piece that makes it look like this tilts in this direction. So tilts it up, tilts it down from there. The rotation comes from this part over here. And just to make it work, I guess, in our minds, we've got the closure that this does have a spot for it to move. That's what I want to do there. And I'm going to work on that now for a little bit. Try to come up with a really cool idea. And of course, I'm going to test out a few more ideas. There we have a few little changes that I've done to this. In fact, quite a lot. It really is a brand new thing when it comes down to it. All of it's moved up a little bit. I've added some more things in. I've even added in the iron bars at the bottom here, where we're going to eventually be pulling something up off the ship. And I'm not too sure what we're going to do there. We'll have to think about that when we actually get the ship in here. But I want to show you what I've been doing around here, because this has actually been a very weird build for me so far. By the way, look at that. I think that's coming along quite nicely. We need to do some more stuff in here. I do have the stuff that I wanted. But overall, I think it's starting to turn out better than it was originally. It's been one of those weird ones where you got to wrestle with it until the very end. It's just not quite working out when you have an idea, you put it in, and it just doesn't quite work out the way you planned on it working. But that's the nature of it, I guess. It's something that we don't build very often, and I guess we don't really have too much experience in this as well. So that's probably why. Let's just go back to this side. That was something I wanted to try out, just because that middle piece looked a little bit. Yeah, you know what? Even though that doesn't really make sense why that's there, I kind of like that it's a bit more thick and strong looking. Maybe those blocks over there, where I've put the slabs in, I can maybe put some stairs in. That could look cool, and it would connect those up there, and we could even do them to the top there if we really wanted to. But that piece over there, it really looks like it could be a piece that swivels left to right, or actually that one was meant to be the up-down one, right? Yeah, it was. Okay, so I guess it maybe could look that way. Let's go back to this side. I actually didn't really think about that when I was building. I'm not gonna lie. That's that was something I might have overlooked there for a second, but it could work. It's the thought that counts. And let's have a quick look. See, I could see that. In fact, I don't even know what I was thinking about there just then, because I did have the idea half. I kind of remembered it at the back here, but not at the beginning. So I've got that little piece over there, which I've changed it over for. And over there, what I was thinking of doing is actually getting my oak fences and doing something like this, which I think will be pretty cool. Let me just get up there. Not too far. That's too short, isn't it? Oh, that was perfect. Perfect throw. Doubting myself before I even give it a chance. There we go. So we're going to use the oak fences just to distinguish them a little bit differently from these here, because we've used these, of course. And, oh no, that is not very good, actually. Guess we can only do that. And that doesn't really make too much sense, but hey, you know, we don't have too much room to work with. Ideally, I would have that out a bit further and have this weight system in here a bit further away, but it might not be the case that we'll be able to. Which isn't really a big deal. I'm not too upset about it, but it's not ideal. That's the thing. It's not ideal, but you know what? We'll keep that there. We might come up with a better idea. If you guys come up with a better idea, as per usual, I love to hear other people's opinions or ideas on things, because of course I don't always have the best ones when it comes to it. It's always a matter of someone telling me, "Hey, Jansey, you've done something really silly and it's so obvious." And most of the time it is really obvious, and I'm just not seeing the thing I could be doing. So let's go check that out. There. I thought that would give it a bit more support to make it look like it's going quite strong over there. Maybe something over here? Maybe like that. Just get that in there. Yeah, I think I need to just make a gap in this one here. Then they'll kind of pull it together. And yeah, we'll work on that. In fact, that one there, is that a full block? No, I was gonna say if I could put a stair in there, that would be perfect. So what the next stage is, of course, in this, because we're doing it, you can see I kind of separate piece by piece. That piece, the next piece, this piece. This over here will just quickly cap off very, very quickly with whatever we want. I think something along the lines of a. Let me just get up there. Either just one of those, which seems kind of boring. So maybe we'll do something a little bit different. We'll do something like this. There, and maybe something like that. Who knows? That could be kind of cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm happy to leave it for a little bit, see how that goes. And the next stage will be adding in the last little piece of the room, and eventually we'll probably also give the gears a try, which are going to be underground. So I want to put the control room to this right now, and maybe we could just get it picking something up for the meantime. We're inside right now, and I've done a few little things. I've just done the little entrance up here, well, not entrance, the little room up here. I haven't finished off this entire area. I think the whole thing is going to be a thing we'll do the interiors on stream. I think that's the kind of thing it is, because it's a lot of work. Well, I'll show you guys once we've updated it. There's a lot of just little things we can do. I've kind of got this area looking good. We'll eventually put some things around here. It's a lot of tedious stuff, I guess, and you guys know me and interiors, we're learning. We're getting there. Slowly, one day at a time. But pretty much what I was thinking, this was just something kind of funny, I thought. I didn't realize you could do something like that pretty easy. Look at that, you just place it. That was kind of funny. I was just messing around with a few things. And I also came across another weird thing. These are just unrelated weird things that I thought I'd show you guys. I didn't expect that these would not be broken by that, but they would power that one. Weird stuff. But yeah, that was what I was kind of thinking would be kind of cool, just to have a few of these things in here, just to make this thing look like it's being controlled from some way or another. This doesn't change things, being directional, no. Something like that, just as a way, a means of controlling that, and maybe we could even just put a button or something. Well, that's not how you craft buttons. There you go, just a button or something like that. Can we place it? We can place it on top there. Okay, turns out that happens with that. Learning things. Wonderful. I could just do that and break it. Wonderful. All right, enough messing around with this. I just wanted to show you guys that. And then I will show you what this looks like from the outside, of course, because I've decided to go with something over here. Now, this piece over here is a little bit different to what we've done before. I'm going to be pulling this all the way down this way, and what I want to do with this is it's kind of not ready for me to do it. But what I want to do is I want to get this piece to be a solid sort of thing like what I've done here. Look at that. Like that wall there. I want this to be a solid wall just like that. But I want the actual ocean to be close up to it. So in other words, something along the lines like this with a few rocks and things like that. But I've got to definitely do a lot more work to get this part of the ocean floor up a little bit more. You can see where we've done it up to the custom level. I don't even know if I've actually said anything about this, but I one day just went through and just filled in this area to that level there, and I think we'll be taking it a little bit lower than that over here. But I don't want to go too far with this before I have to redo everything and get it to all look normal again. So I thought I'd just put a few things in there, just show you guys what I'm thinking at least. And of course, this is pretty flat looking, so I guess it's kind of important for me to do that. That I think is pretty much all that I've managed to do in the past little bit. So between the last clip and this clip, because I mean, I was just kind of testing out the inside, and overall, I think it looks quite good. In fact, oh, our last firework rocket. Let's use that one wisely. Let's hope this was worth it. Up there, I've just kind of copied stuff over, but I think this overall, this little build, look at that. I think it's starting to look pretty cool. Just all together and being held tight. Of course, there's a few, you could see a little hole in the roof and stuff like that. That will be fixed, but overall, I just thought I'd show you guys how this thing's looking. It's turning out really, really good. And a thing that really helps out my building and just helps out building in general, I find, is just adding things very tight together, so things nearby. This is quite a large gap, but think about once we've got the ship in, think about once we've got another building on this side of the road, with the road going here, with stuff over here. It's just all going to tie in so well. And of course, as I say, we go back to that postcard photo idea that I was talking about. That's what we're looking at. That's what we got, the ship in there, all of that. That's going to be what sells this area, I guess. But for today, guys, I think that will do this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed the different sort of build being the crane. Hopefully, I've given you guys some ideas, and you guys can hopefully give me ideas on how I can make this a little bit better. I'm not completely sold on this idea, but of course, I like what's come out of it. I like the random weird things that have happened with it, and of course, it's a matter of evolving and figuring out what is looking better than what pieces are looking better than other pieces. And in fact, let me just quickly, I know I've said we're about to end it, but I want to show you just from this side. I didn't actually mention looking at the crane. But over here, look at that. That is looking so good all together. I mean, the cloud horse in the background doesn't do too bad for itself, but just look at that. All together, I think we've got this from this side looking pretty much spot on. So, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.